President. If I may, Madam President, members of the board, I'd like to request and ask the audience if they would to join us in a moment of silence for the New Mexico State Police Officer Justin Hare, who lost his life in the line of duty on Friday. Justin was a student of the Moriarty School District, Moriarty Middle School, and Moriarty High School, and his parents were staff members. They work for our transportation department. So if I may, I'd like to ask everyone to join us in a moment of silence to honor Officer Hare and his service to the state of New Mexico. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
We invite everyone to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you please stand? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam President, members of the board, I recommend adoption of the agenda for tonight's regular meeting of the school board, March 19th, 2024, as written.
We have a recommendation from Superintendent Viviano to approve tonight's agenda. Do I have a motion to approve?
I move to approve.
And a second? Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? And I would like to make note for the record that Albert Chavez, our secretary, hopefully is just running late and will join us in shortly. So, we have the rest of the agenda. Now, I would like to welcome everyone. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. We're happy to have people from our community that come and participate in the school board. So we thank you for coming.
Madam President, we move to approval of minutes. I recommend approval of minutes from the regular meeting of February 20th, 2024 as written.
We have a recommendation from Superintendent Viviano to approve our draft of the regular minutes from February 20th, 2024. Do I have a motion to approve?
I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from February 20th.
Do I have a second? Okay. Any discussion over those minutes? No? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? Okay. We have approved the minutes.
All right, thank you. All right.
And we've now come to citizen comments.
Citizen comments, all right. Dr. Buckley, do you mind moving the turn to the front? Got one of them.
I know.
It's gonna shine right on you guys, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yes, just a reminder that you have 2 minutes per speaker. Please come up to the podium and give us your name. And so we'll invite the first person to come up is Mr. Tom Sullivan.
I have some copies of what I think I have a condensed version, but can I leave copies with, for the board? Good evening, members of the board, Superintendent Viviano. As always, it is nice to see you. I appreciate the opportunity to speak, but you may be surprised by the topic and my comments. I am here to support the Edmond community, though not their elected officials, in their efforts to prevent any plans whatsoever to to demolish the EES North building. I believe it was ill-advised for your contracted planner to include that even as a long-range suggestion, which was merely part of a brainstorming what-if scenario for a worst-case financial crisis. The North building has been kept in good repair and has had many excellent improvements for both town and community use, increasing its overall utility. I would hope the district and community can develop another appropriate lease. But on Thursday, March 14th, the town once again stirred up your constituents with half-truths about several other future district plans and ignored and glossed over conveniently and intentionally an important letter from Superintendent Bibiano. That letter clearly stated the allegations the town made were not true. In fact, I was thrown out of that commission meeting room for questioning whether they were violating the Open Meetings Act and were inappropriately discussing how to deal with that letter. That would have changed the tone of the public comment segment significantly had it been read. Can anyone here identify a single governmental agency that has ever developed a master plan and completed everything on it in linear order? Right. The town is again using false premises to rile folks. But I continue to support district plans to take down the South building as it is no longer viable to keep it at all, primarily due to the exorbitant cost of the essential renovations needed to make it habitable and bring it up to code. I've spoken at several town meetings chastising them for spending over $100,000 on legal fees to bully the district, dollars that actually been paid to Mr. Power's long-term personal attorney's law firm. He didn't want to be inconvenienced when asked by the Secretary of State recently to move even one of their town meetings so the town chambers could be used as a polling site. He wanted your kids to interact with hundreds of unknown civilians in your buildings for a week or so. Back to tax dollars, then the district has to respond, thus wasting even more and dollars better spent in the classroom.
Thank you for, yeah. Thank you. Our next one is Deborah Brennan. Thank you. I'm sorry. There you go.
Good evening. It used to be that our schools and our church was the heart of each community, and the community worked together to make our schools strong. Not for the district, but for our kids. The kids felt loved, valued, encouraged, and important. It was the community's responsibility to provide a safe place to question, learn, grow, and dream. This is not only the school district's responsibility, it's also everyone's. All residents should have a say in our schools. We are all invested, either directly with our kids' enrollment or as residents watching our future grow. And we all pay taxes for you to spend wisely to educate our kids to be successful. I would like to publicly thank the Edgewood Town Commission for holding a town meeting to present your master plan. You were invited to attend. They provided a space for the community to view the plan that you submitted to PFAS, and although they firmly stated that they could not answer any questions regarding it, they did try to explain what it appeared to mean and how master plans work in general. Let's see. Thank you also to Mrs. Donner for attending. She did not speak, but she was invited to add to the conversation. Her presence was noted and appreciated. Thank you. Just knowing that one school board member came to hear the concerns was encouraging. You should have presented this, or at the very least attended to address just the questions. I only reviewed it in a short time, but the numbers didn't make sense or add up. It would have been nice to have had that explained. Mrs. Hudson emailed that due to mediation and litigation, they would not be attending. I'm sorry. We can't discuss your plans for the future of our kids' education? Really? Why? That plan is public record. The plan was not in mediation. Was it due to the venue, or was it who was in attendance? You did hold public meetings, I'll give you that. 4, if I recall, all at Route 66 from 8 to 11:30 in the morning.
I'd like to give you mine.
Thank you. Linda Wheeler, is Linda yielding her time? Thank you. I don't understand why we can't discuss the plans for the future of our kids' education. The meetings were held from 8 to 11:30. Thanks really a lot for trying to reach all the parents and accommodate schedules. 8 to 11:30? If you really wanted the community to be included in this, meetings at each affected school school at varying times or some open workshops would have been a good option. No one has ever talked about this on Nextdoor, at the grocery store, anywhere. So it appears to me that no one even knew about it. There was a master plan committee. That's normal, but it was extremely biased. 23 MESD staff members and 2 parents. Why? Did you think the community wouldn't or couldn't understand, or that they'd ask too many questions? It would have made more sense to have 2 to 3 community residents from each affected school with the remainder as staff. I realize that this plan was completed last summer with the prior board, and that unfortunately the new board members had to vote on it within 45 days of taking office. In the future, if you have not studied the issue fully and had not time to get your questions answered, please vote no. The world will not end, I assure you. In addition to demolishing several schools, you will be asking for a $14 million bond. Seriously? You can't even explain to me why tearing down fairly new buildings is necessary or fiscally prudent. And you want more money? I have heard the district say that they want more community involvement, but it sure seems like lip service. I think what you really want are drones. Folks to do your bidding and not question you. People aren't going to follow blindly. They will ask questions. When you refuse to address those questions, there is a problem. At the very least, a lack of transparency. If you are trying to alienate this community and grow suspicion, you are exceeding exceptionally well.
Thank you. Next, we have Jerry Powers.
Thank you, Richard McMarlin, Barbara McMarlin, and Patty O'Brien at Blooming Reserve. Good evening. I'm Jerry Powers. I'm commissioner with the town of Edgewood, and of course, we were in mediation today trying to reach a solution to this problem that might be a win-win. Unfortunately, it was a very disappointing result. We didn't get there. I have a petition here. You remember when this issue first came up about demolishing buildings in Edgewood? We had a town hall in October of 2022, and 500 people signed the petition. And keep in mind that historically, the voter turnout in Edgewood was only about 450 people until the new commission got active and it went up. But this is 500 people, so this is more than the average voter turnout. I'd like to read the petition into the record. It says, "We, the undersigned, call on the Moriarty Edgewood School Board to uphold the district's promise of not closing or demolishing, but rather allowing the continued use and repurposing of the north and south buildings of Edgewood Elementary as a town hall, pre-K, higher ed, and multi-generational Edgewood community center. As concerned citizens and taxpayers, we reject the waste and abuse of taxpayer funds and assets. We call for the district to immediately suspend all efforts to demolish or dismantle any portions of this valuable building and infrastructure. Understanding the district lacks desire to maintain the buildings, we demand intergovernmental cooperation and support the donation, lease, or sale to the town for proper maintenance and utilization of the EES campus for public service to Edgewood and the surrounding area." So the citizens have made themselves clear. When we saw it again, I was shocked when I saw it on the agenda for last month because we'd never heard anything about it. We had never been invited to come to any of the stakeholder meetings. I reread the guidelines from the PSFA about how to do one of these plans. They request not only the public that be involved in the process, the general public, but also stakeholders, and it even specifies that you need to identify historic structures. These structures have been designated historic by the Town of Edgewood Commission, and I noticed that they were never mentioned as that designation in the plan. So donating these to the Town of Edgewood, who has paid for historically about 75% of all of the tax revenue that funds the district for capital improvements, would it be an equitable solution that would save $1.2 million of demolition funds that you all are applying for according to your plan? It would save Edgewood $28 million in the replacement costs of these buildings for town hall, library, and a community center. Right now, our children are hanging out in the Walmart parking lot because you all were letting us, this board and district were letting us use that facility for our youth programs, for a lot of activities for the community. They have no place to go. Nothing good happens in a Walmart parking lot. We recently had a carjacking where somebody got shot. I mean, I know it has to be about the children and the residents, but these are children too. And we have youth educational services programs all summer long in these buildings. The Junior Police Academy, the YES program. We had a lot more planned, but they have since been locked out of that building. So evicting the town government is also not going to help things in this strange rivalry that seems to be going on that I don't understand, quite frankly. The last time that you all had demolition on the schedule, it didn't include the library or the town hall. Now it includes all buildings at EES. So displacing the town government and the children that use the library, which is used extensively, it's a great facility. The town of Edgewood put $600,000 into remodeling the building based on your representations that we could continue to use it. Now it's scheduled for demolition. So your declining enrollments in the plans say that it will be many, many years before anything is needed in the way of an elementary school on that site. It can serve the public in a useful capacity in a big way for the town of Edgewood. Demolishing a perfectly good building would be like, I have two houses, my children grow up, so rather than sell that one or lend it out or lease it to somebody who could live there, I want to demolish it. On the idea that maybe down the road, somewhere in the future, I might build another house. Very wasteful. So we have extended many opportunities to have intergovernmental meetings, to have brainstorming sessions. We still want a win-win. We don't want to diminish anything for the district, but doing what we're asking, not demolishing the building and donating it, would not have any significant impact on the district in a negative way. It would save $1.2 million in taxpayer funds to demolish, and it would also allow for, we offer money even though intergovernmental cooperation is usually just transfer. We have our fire station, our police station, a lot of those things have been donated to the town of Edgewood because the county recognized that it was our taxpayer funds that paid for them. These buildings were paid for the same way. So 60% of the voters and the population are in Edgewood. I see there's an April 3rd meeting coming up, which I applaud. I'm glad you all are now involving the public at Moriarty High School. We'd like to have one somewhere in Edgewood. 60% of your district population is there. And I looked up the last bond that was passed in 2021. It was passed by 11 votes out of 2,400 votes. So that tells me that the people have lost confidence in the district and the way it's spending its money. You have an opportunity now to restore that confidence in a big way by repurposing these buildings instead of destroying buildings. We'll take all the renovation costs, we'll do all the maintenance from now on, we'll alleviate you of all of these expenses, and we will do something, and you will do something really good for the Edgewood community and gain back the goodwill and confidence of the voters. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Next, we have Barbara McMarlin. She was one of the donated. Okay.
She was.
All right.
And Richard McCollum?
And-
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now we're ready for Mary Hall.
I'm gonna donate my time to Audrey O'Neill.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, thank you. Next is Barbara Barrett.
Good evening, and thank you for allowing me to speak with you today. It's my understanding school boards are to do what's best for our kids. So that's why we're all here, to try to do what's best for our kids. Taking our library away, it is very much used by the kids. Taking that away is not really helping our kids. We need so much, right now we need to concentrate on our kids because life is just getting crazy. Things are happening everywhere, there's bad stuff happening everywhere, and that all comes from when they're little. And teaching them and having a nurturing, growing environment is going to make healthy adults. When we take away things from them, like taking down the library, And that's for really everyone in Edgewood, but we're talking about kids today. The longer bus rides that we understand that this switch around would be doing, they already spend a lot of time because of the nature of how everyone is scattered here. And that just takes time away from them being kids, which they so much need to be. Moving on to the taxes for the buildings. And just as Jerry has said already, we paid for those buildings, they're up, and they're not old, okay? It's my understanding that the library portion and our town hall portion is only about 25 years old. It's a very young building, there's really no reason to destroy it. Now, I don't know a whole lot about the school itself, but I understand that we're able to renovate what is needed there, and that will give us room for kids to be, instead of being in the parking lot of Walmart, or drinking beer and throwing the bottles on the side of the road. It's normal teenage stuff, but if we occupy them with other stuff, we may keep them away a bit from that. So we understand that the buildings that right now are costing money to the school board. Thank you. I should watch my time.
Martha Ellen or Eason or Ian? Martha? There she is. How do you pronounce your last name?
Is it Eden?
Eden. Okay, sorry. It looks like an S or it looks like an E. I
It's been easier. My handwriting is
Yeah, mine is bad.
I almost feel pretty good.
Thank you.
I started out, my name is Martha Eden, Superintendent Viviano and board members. I'm a resident actually of Torrance County in the 87015 school, post office district. So I'm considered in Edgewood, but not the town limits. We were told that there were a series of meetings going on, or we actually weren't told that, but we knew you were doing a facilities master plan update. And I think there were 2 citizens of Edgewood in the committee, but we really never had any feedback about what the plan was going to be. So it occurred to me that it would be a good idea to try to determine what proportion of the property tax income to MESD comes from Edgewood residents. And I talked to the Santa Fe County Treasurer and the assessor, and I really didn't come up with hard numbers that I wanted. So I went ahead and backed off and said, I can get some numbers from MLS, I am a realtor. So I did 87015 and 87035 zip codes, and I was able to do the volume of home sales, residential property sales, from January 2023 to the beginning of March 2024, about 14 and a half months. And what we found out was that there were 246 transactions in 87015 and 104 transactions in 87035. The volume of sales in 87015 was 84.9 million, and the volume of sales in 87035 was 23.8 million. The median prices were $335,000 in 87015, $220,000 in 87035. That would make 87015 78% of the total volume of 108.7 million, and 87035 22%. Now, I don't pretend to say this says what the whole numbers are, but I would say that Edgewood does support Moriarty with property tax income more than half.
Thank you.
I think my question is, why shouldn't Edgewood citizens' ideas and opinions be incorporated as a major determining factor when long-range planning takes place at MESD? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Alondro Anaya.
need the 2 minutes, but Jerry left 2 minutes and 4 seconds. Can I have his leftovers? Thank you, guys. I'm Commissioner Philandro, and I am with the town of Edgewood. And I am also a former board member. I've sat up here for 12, 14 years with all of you guys. I've seen many of you grow up, play sports in school, and now you guys are the leader of our community. And which I'm very, very proud to say that I had a little bit of help of helping you guys get to where you are today. Because you guys were part of the community. Moriarty Edgewood, if you look at the emblem back there, when I first came on the board, it was just called Moriarty Edgewood, Moriarty School District. I fought with Karen Catch, superintendent at that time, to make sure that Edgewood was placed on the school district, so that it became the name Moriarty Edgewood School District. We got that passed, and what happened at that time, the following election year, we became districts. My district was District 3, and it was in the Edgewood area. That's where I reside. So ever since then, I have been fighting for Moriarty Edgewood School District. I didn't fight for Moriarty. I didn't fight for Edgewood. I fought for the district. And I made sure that everything that we did was 100% for the kids. The buildings that we got put up were buildings that I was very proud to say that I got to work on a lot of them. Todd, you know that very well. So I had a lot of input and stuff like that for the kids. The football fields, I mean, you name it. So I'm an alumni here. I sat there. I now sit on as a commissioner for the town of Edgewood. And everything I do is for somebody else. It's not for me. I just want our community to make sure that it is sufficient with everything that it has to available for it. I was really hurt today when we went into mediation for a number of reasons, and I'm not going to explain what they are at this point. You guys were in that meeting downstairs, and we were upstairs. I was embarrassed to say that I was part of the Board of Education for the first time. Because when I was on it, we would have never, ever done what you guys did. Never. These buildings belong to the communities. They don't belong to an individual. They're paid for by the community, the East Mountain area. I fought to make sure that these buildings were never closed as long as I was on the board, and they didn't close. Todd, you know that very well. That when they came up and tried to close Edgewood the first time, we stopped that. Because Edgewood is a viable town for our community, just as Moriarty is. So it hurts me to see that we're going to lose a valuable asset that belongs to the East Mountain area, the town of Edgewood, the students, the parents, and the same thing with Moriarty. If I can ask anybody up here right now to hold your hand up if you were in the red brick building. Did any of you guys go to school there? You know what the red brick building is today? It's an IT building. What was it before? It was the superintendent's office. It was for the Board of Education. They didn't tear it down, and it's the oldest building in this district, by far. The school in Edgewood is only 40 years old roughly.
Out of respect for the others that are here, we need to ask you to stop.
I would
Thank
like to
you.
hear him finish.
Commissioner and I can have mine too.
Can you hear me?
Allison.
Okay.
Thank you, Elsa.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. So, I have a lot of history here in this area, in the town of Moriarty, born and raised. Our family is from here, born and raised. My dad was even born and raised. You know, and my dad worked a lot for a lot of you, your all's parents. He did a lot of work for them. And he always told me, take care of your people. Take care of your people. That's the first thing that you do in business. Well, you guys are in business right now. And I'm asking that you guys take care of business. Take care of your community. Respect your communities. Respect the elders that are in there. They started off first. Now we have to be able to take care of our kids that are growing up. You know, the ones that we're still here raising so that they can go to our schools. So it's not a hard issue to make. It's a very simple issue. Unless there's something that you're not telling us about Edgewood Elementary. And I know you guys don't know. So Todd, maybe you need to educate them and tell them what is it? What's the real purpose that you guys don't want Edgewood to have a building? What is the issue? That's all. That's what I would like to know, because I have racked my brain till I've gone crazy over this. I know when I was on the Board of Education, what the plan was for these buildings.
Thank you, Commissioner Renaya.
Thank you all very much.
Nina McCracken?
It's Nina.
Nina, sorry.
That's okay.
I think I put the name really well.
Oh, mine's different though, it's a nice Slavic name. Good evening, Madam Chair, Board, Superintendent, and public. I thank you for the opportunity to come and speak to you. I come not only as the town manager of Edgewood, but as a mother of children in the district. I bought my house because of South Mountain and have been more than happy, and you have some of the best educators. It is vital that we listen to our public. We are all here to fight for our future as a town and a school district, not only for our own futures, but the children that are our future. What we do and how we choose to proceed is teaching them. Our communities need to come together to give the best opportunities to all children. I've had this discussion with my own governing body. Decisions can change. Community needs change, and decisions should never be made in haste or with limited time to review. Senator Ivy Soto has mentioned many times during trainings that small governments feel the need to pass everything right away. And as presented, instead of addressing concerns and bringing items back, I understand special meetings and extra meetings are difficult, but sometimes it's needed, just to make sure that all decisions are all-inclusive to include everybody. The school district spans to Kleins Quarters, Stanley, Golden. I know children that come from Chillee and to Harris. Everyone wants what's best. And as Commissioner Powers had mentioned, I am a mother of teenagers that find themselves with nowhere to go. A community center that we could work together would make a great place for these teens to go instead of to Echo Ridge, to Walmart, to Sonic. They are constantly having the police called on them just for being there. They are not doing anything, just for being. I urge you to take the time to not only hear your public, but reach out to your constituents. Listen to the parents and the communities. It's time to work together and for the common good and to get rid of this rivalry between Moriarty and Edgewood. We need to come together and fight together. I have sat down with your superintendent, talking to him about what's best for all the children. This is our future. This is what we're looking to keep our district alive, to keep our towns alive. and I do appreciate the time. Thank you.
Bryce Simmons?
There's a reason why I park in the middle of the aisle. Commissioner Bibiano and the board, I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you. First thing I'd like to do is focus on the fact that we need to save the buildings at Edgewood Elementary. The fact that they're being scheduled, these salvageable buildings are being scheduled for demolition is just simply ludicrous. It's unconscionable that they have rigidly and single-mindedly, the school district has rigidly and single-mindedly pursued a goal to reduce the square footage of the district without consideration of how the complex could and should be repurposed for the benefit of the existing community and still achieve the goal of reducing the square footage. I think the proposed master plan, which did not involve the community at large, includes the inclusion of an appraisal, which is seriously flawed. The estimates of repairs needed and the costs associated with those repairs are simply outrageous and absolutely not realistic. I've never met a credible person who's looked at that school to be able to verify any of those charges, any of those estimates of any of those costs, any of the repairs that are necessary. So consequently, any conclusions based on that appraisal are false and should never be considered. I know there's a lot of very, very important benefits if we were able to repurpose this building and allow the town of Edgewood to take advantage of it. But one benefit that I am aware of that has been very little discussed among the community is the need for an emergency relief center and a crisis command center. The state, if I'm not mistaken, has mandated that every community develop an emergency relief plan for a center, an emergency center and a crisis control center. And this large compound would serve nicely. There's no question that we live in a high fire risk area. Compound fires are huge and a serious concern to every single one of us that live in this community. And by tearing this thing down, there is no other facility that can be substituted for this purpose. If you do in fact force the demolition of this building down our throats, then we get the right to say, I told you so, as we suffer and struggle to figure out where we're going to put the crisis people.
Susan Simons?
Thank you very much for having me today. This was not planned until I was sitting outside. Both our children and our daughter-in-law are graduates of Moriarty High School. An attorney, a master's in mechanical engineering, and the city clerk for the city of Anchorage, Alaska. Just let you know, if we're going to have an honor roll somewhere, I'd like those names from them. What I'd like to say to you is, I've been involved in nonprofit work for over 25 years, and I think it's very fiscally irresponsible of you all to consider this plan and then ask for a bond. If you can't handle the money and the properties you already have, how can you ask the taxpayer to pass a bond? I have never not voted for a bond, but I'll tell you, if this plan goes through, not only will I not vote for another school bond in this school district, which I plan to live on for God knows how long, but I will actively work to convince other people not to vote for the bond too. That's not a promise, it's not a threat, it's just a matter of fact. Thank you.
Thank you. Sherry Abraham, who has very nice printing. As a school teacher would acknowledge.
Good evening, Superintendent Viviano and board. I would like to say, one of the things, the number one one things we're trying to teach our kids these days. Renew, reuse, repurpose, reduce your carbon footprint. You know, I was on the town council when we decided to enter into an agreement with you, a 25-year agreement with you guys to repurpose the north building. And it is a beautiful building, library and town hall. It's where we have the elections many times because there's no space in Edgewood to hold those. I was also on the town council when Santa Fe County donated a very old, very useless to them fire station when they built their new one. And we took money and we created a very nice police department. Beautiful. Can do training there for all that whole area. That allowed us to then repurpose our court, our old police station into our current municipal court. Edgewood has a history of reuse, repurpose, renew, recycle wherever we can. You know, you're not just taking these buildings from the town of Edgewood. You're taking them from these students who will someday be the leaders in their community. I know my daughter has moved back into the neighborhood where she went to high school to be able to raise her children. Many of these students will do the same. There are future leaders. Please help them learn the concept of renew, reuse, repurpose, reduce your carbon footprint. Thank you.
Thank you. Norman Roque.
Superintendent Viviano, members of the board, thank you for having me. Norman Roque. To the community, I am one of the two community members that was on the FMP, and I'm here to say that I stand by that plan. It was a true plan. The options presented, the work that we put into it was very good work, very good work. Looking at school modernization, moving forward, moving the community forward, the students, that's what it's about. It's great that you're all here. It might come aside more for the community. It's great to see everybody here, but your involvement can't just be tonight. It's got to start at the schools. Get involved. Many of the staff, the administration will see me at the school where my children attend. I'm there, all these events. I'm also here at Port, right? Get involved, right? Understand what the needs of the children are and the district. Be a part of that. Be a part of the plan, not the enemy, right? Be a part of the solution.
Give us the chance.
Thank you.
Community meetings like tonight's a great first step.
Linda Burke.
Good evening, board members and district staff. My name is Linda Burke. My children are now adults that did at one time attend Moriarty Edgewood schools. In the past, I've run the YES program for the town of Edgewood out of the Edgewood Elementary School gym. And it was a very useful facility, and it was a great opportunity to get that program off the ground. Well, looking at tonight's agenda, I was really impressed to see the MESD school homepage lists the 4 key goals of Moriarty High School graduates. They're quite appropriate for facilities master plan process and any decision-making process. In reading through the proposal, I did see that the district enrollment has declined almost 50% since the early 2000s, and then a number of buildings are in rough shape and really do require significant repairs. It's clear some changes need to be made for facilities, and I'm hopeful that the district will be able to do that. But I am also concerned about the waste involved in demolishing Edgewood Elementary School and the negative community impacts that consolidating several campuses could pose on both Edgewood and Moriarty. My hope is, and I really encourage you all, to work through developing an appropriate FMP and that all stakeholders can be included in the process and that everyone can utilize the very same key goals that you strive to instill in your graduates. Goal number 1, critical thinking. Be able to analyze data, think outside the box, and consider creative solutions to drawing conclusions. Number 2, be an effective communicator. means engaging in dialogue as an active listener, an effective speaker, and have the ability to comprehend the big picture and the nuances of the topic. Number 3, be an engaged citizen. Be involved. Respect the rights of all community members. Participate in your community today and create positive plans for its future. Be mindful of the history and the work of those that came before us. Number 4, future-ready learner. Do not limit ourselves to the ways of the past. Embrace new ideas, seek out new opportunities, and be flexible as we evaluate change. I hope everyone can participate in the process and think along the lines of what you expect from your graduates. Thank you.
Thank you. Crystal Cocaine.
Hello, thank you for allowing me to speak. I wasn't going to give much background about myself, but I feel like it's appropriate. I'm an alumni here, as is my husband. 08, 07, best class in my opinion. I might have a different one. But we started our family in Albuquerque, and quickly realized that that's not where we wanted to be, and we wanted to come back to our roots. So we moved out here, bought a house out here. It's going great. I have a middle schooler and a 3-year-old. Once we got wind of this master's plan, Luke and I were a little concerned. We moved out here to get back down to the smaller classes, the one-to-one with the teachers, and just that quieter life that we couldn't find in Albuquerque. After reading the PowerPoint sent out by Mr. Bibiano last week, I noticed a lot of focus was on capacity and utilization. Nothing about how this facilities master plan would impact our children academically or socioeconomically. My question is, was the board presented with any evidence-based research on how the combining of the 2 middle schools, for example, or the creation of this freshman academy, it would impact students academically or socioeconomically? For example, any data or statistics related to improved student testing or performance? Thank you.
Thank you. Stephen Murillo.
Stephen Murillo, District 3, Whitewood Airport, Edgewood. I've been a member of this community since I was born. I went to Edgewood Elementary School. I went to Moriarty Middle School. I went to Edgewood Middle School. I went to Moriarty High School. I caused enough fights and enough problems for the current superintendent. And just to say that no feedback from the town of Edgewood is offensive. We have history here. Edgewood Elementary School, a tree dedicated to Elizabeth's story that nobody will ever remember, except me and my classmates. I would fight for Mountain View right here, where my friend died, right over there, with the memorial to him. I care about Edgewood and Moriarty. I get Edgewood and Moriarty kids shots all the time when I'm writing them reference letters, when I'm helping them to get into Sandia Labs, when I'm trying to, 2 of them, one just thanked me the other day, hey, Steve, I appreciate you going out of your way to hire me and write that reference letter to me at Sandia. Told them, remember me when I applied there, buddy. But at the end of the day, we have a lot of history here. We're not enemies. My best friends are from Moriarty. My best friends are from Edgewood. I do everything I can, and I'm offended that we should be, being told that we should be involved more. Because you know what? I am involved. I buy your raffle tickets. I support the games. I support the students in going watching the games. I do all those things. My kids don't attend Moriarty Edgewood School District. They're part of EDCA, because that was the right choice for us. So the fact that this plan was made without any input from residents like me, who have a history here, who care about this community, who's lost friends, brothers, and sisters in this community. I have friends in Moriarty, Moriarty and Edgewood Police Departments. I have friends with the fire department folks. I have friends all over. All the Moriarty people I see in the gym that I go to every morning trying to spot me when I'm lifting. We're a community. We're not enemies. And don't make it a rivalry thing. Because at the rate that Edgewood's growing at 5%, we're on the winning side of that. I don't want to. I want Moriarty to be the sister of Edgewood the way it should be. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, yeah, Audrey Armio, who has 4 minutes, donated by one of the former Mary Hall.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, and superintendent administration. Glad to be here, glad to be hearing feedback from everyone. Thank you, members of the board who tabled this topic of the facilities master plan so that more feedback and information could be obtained. I really appreciate that. I just want to make a few comments about good government. In thinking about what makes good government, right? We know that government is of the people, for the people, by the people, or should be. We know that the people are up here. They tell the board what to do through the board's and the people's vision, and then the board, it's your job to delegate that to the superintendent and administration. You all are the how. You all, with everybody here, are the what. Okay, so right now, the way it seems is it's flipped upside down. Coming from administration to parents, to the board, to the people. It's really supposed to be the other way around. Okay, so something to think about. Take your time. And thank you to those of you who are listening to the people. I really appreciate it. I just want to say I'm not in favor of Moriarty Middle School closing because community schools, the studies show, do best and children do best in their own community. And so I wanted to put that out there. Haven't seen any numbers or data on that, but I look forward to that. I encourage everyone to keep looking for that win-win. I guess mediation didn't go so well, but the way I see it, there's hundreds of acres right there, right next door, that can be used, can be utilized for a brand new state-of-the-art new school. And so we can have the win of the community buildings that taxpayers have paid for and a brand new school. You can have both. It doesn't have to be one or the other. And we can remind everyone that to rebuild that square footage is how much? $40 million? Where would that come from? And Edgewood only has bonding capacity for probably $5 to $6 million. So everybody says, oh, Edgewood, just go build your own. But we're not big like the district. We can't. We don't have those funds. As far as square footage, the former Secretary of PED had told me that in Los Alamos, when you guys do leasing, then it doesn't count towards your square footage anymore. So if you lease something out, it takes care of that problem. Takes care of the costs if you lease something out or sell it or donate it, which is what the county has done in our community. The master plan should not be loosey-goosey, like, oh, let's just approve it now and figure out if we want to do it later. They really, there's specifics in there, right? There's bond money that you can ask for the board. I really encourage you to put what's in there. Don't approve it just to approve it, okay? Be intentional, be careful, take your time. This plan is already over a year late, so it's okay. Just take your time. Intergovernmental cooperation is something that I really want to see happen here. Memories, oh my goodness, do we ever have memories? In Edgewood, generations now have been there, and we don't want to see that destroyed and demolished. Is that my 2?
That was your 4.
That was my 4. Okay. All right. Thank you.
issue. I'm here for my own. Good evening and thank you for hearing my concerns. This is my second time coming before you to present this issue. Myself, as well as 20 others who have signed my petition so far, would like the district to provide transportation from South Mountain Elementary to Loving Arms Daycare, which is the only daycare in Edgewood that accepts school-aged children for before and after school care. I was told that this is not possible because of the district zoning that is shown in this map. We live in the Edgewood zone. The daycare is just outside in the zone for Route 66 Elementary. As you can see, Church Street crosses both zones. The bus actually drives past Loving Arms Daycare to drop kids off further down Church Street, but is restricted from stopping there due to this boundary. I request that the transportation boundaries either serve both zones or that the South Mountain zone be expanded to cover all the Church Street and be able to serve the families of the children that are in need the extended care of the Loving Arms provides. So as parents can go to work and stay at work to pay taxes the school benefits from. If our children and parents cannot get this service from the school board, my next step is to contact a lawyer to change your policies legally. Also, will contact the media and let them know Moriarty School District is using tax money to pay lawyers not to deliver our children so it can work to get tax money. I expect a prompt decision since us parents have been waiting for months now. The sole purpose of the school board is to resolve issues just like this. Good night.
And our final one for tonight is Nathaniel Ashbaugh.
Blessing, Donner, Superintendent. I come to you as a new resident of Edgewood, National Guard member, an employee for Albuquerque Public Schools as a 15-year educator, seeking employment in Edgewood. Speaking on the same topic as many others here tonight, I would like to address the facility master plan. First of all, the first speaker made accusatory statements about actions of the Town Commission. I thank the Town Commission for alerting their constituents. There can certainly be progress made here, it's not too late, but no one is riled up as much as that first fellow stated. But it could get there. I speak for 4 new residents in my household, and I have no doubt they will protest with me if this plan doesn't change. Look behind me, I have no doubt that others will bring their families as well. We aren't riled up yet. The only thing that has me riled up is his statements. Although I respect his service and education to MESD, he is a warmonger who no longer has a stake here as he is an Albuquerque resident. Also, not only are his many accusations and his other claims spoken concerning the Town Commission overwhelmingly false, but his claim that he was thrown out of the meeting last week is false, and I know several in attendance who would swear by it behind me. Now on to my points. Freshman Academy ruins high schools. As another spoke, where is the data? I have the experience to swear by it that it will decimate the extracurriculars to include sports and even the fantastic marching band that I saw in December. Busing issues I was going to speak on, but those were already spoken for, I will agree. As per our second speaker, meetings in the morning is not okay. I've worked in 4 other school districts in this state, and no others do it this way. Combining middle schools will result in a decline in enrollment. More will go to Albuquerque and EDCA, or result to homeschool. I agree with my elder in the community behind me who spoke about the appraisal necessity, as well as his other points. To speak to the guy who identified modernization, shiny new things are more for the staff and administration than they are for students. As a 15-year educator, I have seen this. If we look to the roots of the ideas, I would bet they come from within. Let's think more of the residents, of the students, and their families. To the mom and dad who advocate for their transport, I will agree as a new father, and I've got one more thing. No one behind me is trying to limit progress, just to do it properly and with the stakeholders being informed and involved.
Thank you all for coming. Thank you for your comments. We do appreciate them.
All right. We move on to the agenda then?
I believe so.
Okay. Staff student recognition. Madam President, members of the board, we do have with us tonight student athletes. There's Mr. Naya. Mr. Joe Naya will introduce our winter sports athletes. And I think you can come up one at a time, and then the coaches will speak, and then we'll go on from there, all right? Mr. Naya?
Good evening, members of the board, Madam President, Mr. Bibiano. We want to recognize our winter athletes tonight. I'd like to start off with our girls basketball team, head coach, Jennifer Guskus.
Good evening. I'm Amber Guskus. I'm the head girls basketball coach. Sorry. Tonight I have with me my two seniors, my lone two seniors in my program, Miranda Quintana and Juliana Young. We had a rough season record-wise, but like I told the parents last night, they never made it feel that way. These two are fantastic leaders on the court, off the court. Miranda, you'll get to hear about her later. She participated in 2 sports during the winter season and gave her heart to both. Juliana is a fantastic floor general for us. She just knows the court well. And like I told them last night, she is looking to be a teacher, and she's going to be a great coach as well. So I told her when she's ready, come back because there's a job waiting. So these are my two. The other thing I'd like to mention to you real quick that I'm really proud about is our Future Pintos Basketball League. Last year we started it, we had 150 students in it, and this year we had 263. But I don't do it. It's one of my directors here is Anita Pacheco, does it at Moriarty Elementary. Becca Tidwell does it at Route 66, and Monica Lopez do it at South Mountain, and they make it happen. They give up their time 8 Saturdays, January to February. They do practice. They do it for them. So without them, it wouldn't function. So I just wanted to make sure she came. Anita came, so I wanted to bring her and give her the recognition she deserves to make it happen for them. So that's
Are you guys able to participate in that and help out?
Yes, so
You
they
shook your head. You got excited about it, so.
Yeah, so they coach when we can, when we don't have games. They coach the kids, and then as well as Mr. Coach Messina's boys as well give up their time on Saturdays.
I'd like to
Coach
see
the
that
kids.
you're smiling about it.
Yes, they're very good at it. So thank you.
Thank you.
The second sport we're going to introduce tonight is our boys basketball team. This is Coach Caleb Encinas. He's on his first year as our head coach, and we're really proud of the work he's doing.
Alright, well, I'm Coach Caleb Encinas. I brought a senior with me, Isaiah Quintana, and a freshman, Mateo Griego Manley. Both of these guys, they're a prime example of what we're building at Moriarty right now. They're both workhorses and they're great kids, great students, great members of the community. Coach Baguskis touched on the Future Pintos League that we got going on, and that's everyone that's running that at those elementaries, at those sites. So thank you to that. Thank you for doing all that you do. These guys helped out with coaching this year, coaching those younger kids, and showing them the way. And just to touch on our season a little bit, we had a 7-17 record, which probably doesn't look great on paper, but if you look at some of those scores, we had 8 single-digit losses. So we're well on our way to turning things around, and I'm lucky to have the people that I work with, great supporting cast. And I see great things in the future. A couple things that we did this year that we haven't done in the last 6 years is we won a district tournament game. So that's something to hang our hats on right there. Very excited to see everyone here tonight. Thank you to all of you in the community. I look forward to the support going forward in the future, and hopefully Pinto basketball is on the rise, and I think it will be with this freshman we got right here and the others that we got involved in spring sports right now also. So thank you to all of you.
Thank you, guys.
The final sport for the evening is wrestling, coached by Coach Tim Meads and Coach Brenda Gonzalez Meads. Last year, one of his goals was to get more kids in the state tournament. He did that. Get more kids in the state finals. He did that as well. So, Mark wrestling.
Hello, board. How are you guys today?
Very well.
We qualified 13 kids this year for state.
In the 4 seasons that we've been there, we qualified 25 kids for state. We've been in the final 7 times. We've been in the top 10 2 of those seasons. We've been in the top 5 for another season. We have a district title. When we came into the program, when I was hired and my wife was hired to come into the program, I think we had 18 kids or something. We outgrew that room. The second season, we had 2 seasons in the COVID year. We have a wrestling room, but we had to move out on the main basketball court or the practice basketball court, the third court. It's an air-conditioned room, and we can't really get ready in that condition to really compete against Bloomfield, Rio Rancho, some of those other schools. Or I guess Rio Rancho's not in our league, but Cleveland, some teams that we want to bang with. We have to train the elements, so I would like the board to consider moving us into something that we can have some stability and we're not having to roll up our mats and move out of everybody's way. We also have a kids program that we run at the school that benefits our high school program directly. Coach Gustafson runs the kids program. His wife back there, Denise. We produce year in and year out. We're 33-7 in the 3 seasons that we've been running the program with the dual team with the boys. Lily Shoemate Means was a runner-up this year. Caleb Gustafson was a runner-up this year. We had John Valdez. He's not here right now. The one that I can step out on or jump on the most and want to kick in the butt here is Miranda. She came her first season, battled back and forth with basketball and wrestling. Wrestling's a tough sport. If you've never done it, it's rowdy. It's day in and day out of getting punched in the mouth, really. And she split herself with both sports. She qualified at regionals, which because the boys and girls have to qualify in both tournaments to make it to state. She qualified at regionals and then turned around and placed at state. And how she has a college reaching out for her for a scholarship. Coaching seniors, hit on the head. We have workhorses in our programs. I can go on. I like to schedule a meeting with the board. I thought transportation was way off this year with dirty buses and spit on windows and food. I can go on with that. We went to regionals, district, and state on these nasty buses. Route buses, I get it, but clean the windows and mop the floors. That's all we ask with to lay down on these things, and it smells. Get it? Another department had the bus, and I understand those things, but these kids work too hard to not have a voice and have someone stand up for them. They raffle tickets. She's in her 3rd season now, Rib coming out. Mia, we have too many kids here that work too hard to be overlooked, and you guys hired the wrong guy that's not going to have a voice. I'm proud of my kids. I'm proud of my people. We're missing a whole bunch of us. I guess not everybody got the message. Goes back here. Nathan qualified for state this year too. Mission. Everyone raise your hand if you qualify for state that's here right now. And we're missing a few. After one more yard, I'm from here. My job takes me all over the world to fight with the UFC. I have 54 fights now. I'm getting ready to retire. I have another fight next month. 40 years old now. And I know fighters hand in hand. I told Miranda as soon as she came and wanted to practice, I told her she plays at state just because of her work ethic. Bottom line. Lily's a chip off the old block. My daughter Lily here. So, her 2nd year wrestling, she started runner-up at state. Should have pinned the girl in the 1st round, but let her get away from her. Christina, she choked at state. Another chip off the old block, my daughter. That problem with the cell phone. We'll work that problem out moving forward. But everybody that you're seeing here is a workhorse. Isaac in his 1st year, raise your hand, Isaac. He owes me some works meat. He got one this year. They flat out work, and they deserve your respect. They deserve a round of applause, and they deserve everyone to stand up and take notice and show up to their events to support them. Thank you.
Can you introduce the other gentleman back there?
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
Who's that? Coach Dom?
Yeah.
Coach Dom Automio, then you have Coach Josh Camplain. We're missing Coach Gary today, or Coach Barella. We're missing...
So we have 2 head coaches, 2 assistant coaches, and then we had 6 other volunteer coaches that helped out, all wanted to help out and be part of our program and help it be successful, and so grateful for them to help us out.
Yeah, without the parent support and the coaches support, the kids showing up and keeping their word, and we look at GPAs, and if you're showing up ineligible, we help you get your grades up and create realistic goals for yourself to get on track. And the kids that show up, you gotta want to be here. This sport's very, very demanding. To watch individual split times, 3-4 sport athletes that are here. We have an excellent community, the kids are outstanding. Gotta love them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Move on to, Moriarty High School Student Council representatives.
Good evening, board members. I'm Jasmine McKinney, and then this is Jessica Barbosa. This is my vice president for NHS, and I'm the president. We're here representing student council today. We just wanted to share with you some updates that are going on within the high school. It's going really great. First, I want to give some recognition to our auto classes. Mr. Stout's doing a really good job at bringing us in the shop and getting us hands-on. He's having his upperclassmen, such as myself, helping the younger classmen take apart and putting back together engines to really establish the understanding.
And then for yearbook, we are going to submit our yearbook this week or at the end of this week. We are so excited to show our the final result of our yearbook. It looks really good, so we're really excited for everybody else to see and really like our yearbook. So.
And then we also have Messengers. Messengers is doing really cool. Yesterday they had the choral director from UNM come and help them, just listen to them and then get them scholarships to go to UNM. UNM is losing 5 bases after this year, so they're really trying to give scholarships to really good kids. I believe our choir is #1 in the state right now, which is pretty cool. Tomorrow they're having the composer of their piece come in and help them learn it, so that's also really amazing. Yeah.
And then some highlights for NHS. In early September, we decided to do our hoof painting or finish or repaint the hoof shoes, and we decided to change it up to do horse hooves, and we were finally able to do it, and we got it done before homecoming as well, so it was a long-awaited project, but we got it done. And another project that we did in December was for the winter extravaganza. We decided to do ornaments for families and kids to come, and it was the event was completely free, and it was just for kids and families to come and enjoy it. It was really fun.
And National Honor Society is having our induction tomorrow. We're inducting 24 new kids. 5 of them are juniors, 19 of them are sophomores. Sorry. We're really excited to get these new members. Right now we have over 70 members, which is really cool. Over half of them are seniors, so a lot of them will be gone after May, which is kind of sad, but I'm really excited to see what they do. Our induction ceremony is open to anybody in the community. We're really excited to see these kids go far. So.
You'll see us there too.
Yeah, we'll be
like us.
You'll see us and Mr. Adams, so. But yeah. Thank you.
When is the induction ceremony?
It's at
Tomorrow
6
night,
p.m. Yeah, tomorrow night, 6 p.m. It's in the Performing Arts Center at the high school. So, yeah.
Thank you. So
Yeah,
please feel free to join us.
Appreciate that.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Alright, moving on to, board president, board of education, comments or kind of. Principals reports, I'm sorry, I already crossed that out, yeah. Principals and athletic directors, board reports.
Right.
Questions?
Does
for-
anybody have any questions or comments that they want to make towards the principals or the athletic directors?
No.
I do. I always do. I just want to say, you guys, the principals are just doing great. I'm so excited to see the attendance is improving at schools, and the 4th grade field trip that went to the Nuclear Museum from MES, and congratulations to James Salerno from MMS getting to go to the spelling bee. He's one of the 25 finalists competing to represent New Mexico at the Scripps National Spelling Bee. And that's an awesome thing to happen. And then, always enjoy Miss Kelton's pictures from the Early Childhood Development Center. And, our athletics, they are, wonderful students, and a lot of our athletic students are, District Academy, grade point averages, so they not only compete in multiple sports, but they keep their grades up, and they are honor students. I think that's a wonderful thing that we have, and thank you for all the pictures that have been submitted. And Miranda Quintana and Lincoln Page as NMAA Foundation Scholarship Award winners. They are receiving a $1,000 scholarship apiece. And Mr. Adams, congratulations to all 7 senior division teams that qualified for state. Delighted to see all the different areas that our students are engaged in: athletics, cheer, dance, National History Day, youth and government, drama, guitar, music, and the Messengers. Yes, if you have not heard the Messengers, you need to come out and attend one of their concerts. The girls were referring to it, but they were invited by UNM to come and be in their spring concert, and they sang 3 songs, and I shared it with a couple of musical people, friends of mine, and they are bar none excellent. They are so talented and so gifted and so mature, and there's only like less than 20 kids in this group. It's just amazing to see them compete. And that last song that they mentioned, they sang that night, and the composer of that song was there, present at the concert at UNM, and just got to hear it for the first time performed. So that was an amazing event for our kiddos. And then at Route 66, they had a Mother-Son dance, and I love the idea that they're gonna have a garden project to use some of that land that's not able to be used any other way. And then for Mr. G, his enrollment is $295, and his attendance is a big priority on attendance, and he's working very hard to get his students to have very, very good attendance. And he got hot water. I'm happy for him. But anyway, I just, those are only a few of the things that our schools are doing, and we're all very proud of our schools and what they're accomplishing academically and athletically. So thank you all for what you're doing. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Moving on, now we'll move on to Board President, Board of Education.
Okay. I do have a statement to read that was in regards to. Okay. Oh.
No, I don't know.
Okay. Oh, that's for the calendar when it comes out. Getting ready, okay. I have a statement that I would like to read in regards to the mediation that the board attended today. The MESD School Board is disappointed to report that the mediation today with the town of Edgewood over the South Building litigation failed. The lawsuit was filed in October of 2022 by the town to keep MESD from demolishing the South Building of the Edgewood Elementary School, which has been closed since 2014. Expensive litigation followed. The town wants to buy the South Building to develop a community center, but the district has future plans for the land upon which the dilapidated building sits. The board has preserved the land for the benefit of all MESD students through modernization of our facilities and property in this optimal location. The board's commitment has not changed. The board has been optimistic that MESD and the town could collaborate to support students and community rather than just turning over the property to the town. Although the matter was not resolved today, the board values its commitment to students and the school community more than engaging in a costly legal battle that has taken money out of the classroom. Therefore, the board is going to fully redirect its attention to student outcomes and the health of the school community. I also would just like to share that all of us on the board are here because we care about education and we care about our kids, and we also care about our community. You don't, I mean, not see it, but we are here for our kids and for the kids of Moriarty. One of the things that has awed me when I've gone to 2 graduations since I've been on the board, I've been on the board 2 years, a large number of our faculty are all Moriarty High School graduates. So we have many of our graduates, like was mentioned before, that come back into our community to serve their community that they grew up in. and to serve the students that they want to see go forward. So we are very committed to education, and we just want you to know that. Anybody else have any comments?
I do. I appreciate you that stayed to listen to the kids get their accomplishments. That's super important, because that's what we need to be focusing on, is those kids' accomplishments and everything that they're doing. That's where we need to lie, and I really appreciate that. So, thank you on that.
Thank you to Mr. Rogue for coming, and thank you for the committee that worked on this. It may not have been an ideal situation. This board, these 4 people that we represent here right now have never been involved with an FMP before. And the reason we tabled it was because we wanted to know more about it. And that's why we didn't vote on it that night. And so we are moving forward and getting more information. Those were just conversations. And it was ideas that are put together, because we're bound by the state to look at our facility maintenance plan and to make adjustments and to make changes. So they fulfilled what they were asked to do, but that doesn't mean we have to pass everything that's on that facility maintenance plan. So I want to keep it simple because we need to move on. But
I know, I got one more thing.
Okay.
Or do you have one? Okay. I hope you understand that we do, there's several of us that reach out to you guys in the community. We try to get people, we are willing to talk to anybody that wants to talk to us too. So we are always open. People have emailed us, there was several of the parents that talked tonight that reached out to us, and we made it our issues to make sure that we contacted people. So don't be afraid. We are glad to talk and communicate about these things. We want to have the meetings because we want people involved. We're not trying to exclude anyone. So please understand that. We are here and we want to be better, and we want to know what everybody is thinking. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I speak? Okay, so I would also like to express my disappointment in the open meeting portion of the mediation this morning. I feel like I was not treated appropriately or professionally. My character was brought into question multiple times. I offered to hear the board's opinion on my recusal. As many know, my husband is on the Town of Edgewood Commission. I reached out to the State Ethics Commission for an opinion on whether it was ethical for me to participate in the mediation or not. They responded that it was. I showed up to the mediation, but I wanted to do right by the board, so I'm asking them if for their opinions. They gave me their opinions. I recused myself, and then I don't appreciate the way that the attorney handled it. That was an ambush. I feel it was an attack on my character. That is not an accurate representation of who I am. I do not think that was appropriate at all. I am upset about that. I'm also disappointed that nobody else on the board stopped the character attack on me. I'm disappointed in that. I feel like I was left out on an island, and then I recused again and left, which is fine, but the way that it was handled was not okay, and I'm upset by that, and I just want the public to know that I did recuse myself, and it was really upsetting. So.
Thank you.
Shame on you for not standing up for her when she was under attack.
We'll move on to superintendent's report now, unless there's Mr. Young, the last one?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Madam President, members of the board, under superintendent's report, there is an action item for approval of the 2024-2025, and I know that's kind of hard to see there, instructional calendar, sometimes referred to as the 9-month calendar. This is the same calendar that our 9-month employees would follow. There were 2 options that were presented to parents and families and guardians, as well as staff, the same options. They were asked to give us a vote and to give us some feedback, and if they had any questions. When all was said and done, option 1, which you see up there on the screen, was the option that came out ahead. 70% of the 223 staff members that voted, 70% of them voted for this one. And of the 433 family, parents and guardians that voted, 71.6, so very, very close, right? Right at 70%, 71%. Again, this was presented to you in your packets. It does have, so just real quickly, so you don't have to look at the legend. Down at the bottom, the star in August is the first day of school, and then the star down in May is the last day of school for students. We have 184 instructional days, and then the circles with X's in them are the 6 additional days that our 9-month employees work additional time for professional development, for collaboration, for training, time to set up their rooms, their offices, and so employees would start